Today we will learn a simple concept called quadratic equations. Equations of the form ax square plus bx plus c equals 0 are called quadratic equations. So let me write down the standard form of quadratic equation. Any equation which looks like ax square plus bx plus c equals 0 is called quadratic equation in one variable. Here variable is x, a, b, c are some real numbers such that a is not equal to 0, because if a is equal to 0, then 0 into x square will vanish and we will have only linear factor or linear expression here. Okay, so let me give you an example for quadratic equation. Example, say I have x square minus 2x plus 3 equals 0. So this is a quadratic equation. Can you check the degree of this equation? Degree of the equation is 2. So if the highest power is 2, the equations of this kind are called quadratic equations. X cube minus 3x plus 1 equals 0. This is not a quadratic equation. This is not a quadratic equation. This is quadratic equation. Why this is not quadratic equation? Can you see the highest power? Highest power is 3 here. So if highest power is 3, then this is not quadratic. This is cubic equation. So any equation with highest power 2 is called quadratic equation. So what is highest power here? Highest power is 2. So that's called as degree of the equation. So if degree of the equation is 2, then it is called quadratic. Sometimes quadratic equation looks like this: x square is equal to 4. So we will have only one term x square and equated to some real number. So this is a quadratic equation. Or sometimes we can have x square minus 2x is equal to 0. Even this is also a quadratic equation. Or sometimes we can have x square minus 2x plus 3 equals 0. This is a quadratic equation. So can you see here, the x square term is mandatory, the square term is mandatory, but the other terms, that is bx and c terms, are optional. So you need not have those terms. So ax square term should exist. In other words, a should not be equal to 0. So any equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c equals 0 is a quadratic equation. I hope you understood what are quadratic equations. Okay, so now we will see how many solutions are there for quadratic equation and how to solve those quadratic equations. So quadratic equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c equals 0 will have maximum of 2 solutions. Maximum 2 solutions. So what do you mean by maximum 2 solutions? Some equations are there which will have no solution, that means no real solutions, or sometimes it will have only one solution, or we call it as a repeated solution or unique solution or repeated solutions. Or sometimes we will have 2 solutions, most of the time in fact. So these are the possibility. This is the meaning of maximum 2 solutions. Okay, so next question is, how do we get those solutions? That means how to solve quadratic equations. There are different methods to solve quadratic equations. See, one of the methods that we regularly follow is the method of factorization. Or we can use a formula method. We have a formula to calculate the solutions of quadratic equations, to get solutions of quadratic equations. So we will learn these 2 methods now. As I have told you that there are 2 methods. One is the method of factorization and the method of formula or using formula. So let me take single quadratic equation, one quadratic equation, and solve the quadratic equation in both the methods so that you can compare those 2 methods and you can see that we are going to get the same values. For example, let me take x square minus x minus 6 equals 0. So this is a quadratic equation. This is a quadratic trinomial, hence I can split the middle term and factorize them. Like I can take it as x square minus 3x plus 2x minus 3x plus 2x is nothing but minus x. So I am splitting the middle term now. Minus 6 equals 0. Then I'll take first 2 terms and factorize. So if I can take x common from first two terms, I'm going to get x minus 3. And if I take 2 common from last two terms, I'm going to get x minus 3 equals 0. So if I take x minus 3 common factor again, I'm going to get x plus 2. So hence I have written a quadratic trinomial as product of two linear factors. And since the product is 0, according to the null product rule, I can equate each factor to 0. So that is x minus 3 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0. So if x minus 3 equals 0, then x will be equal to 3. This is one of the solutions. Or you can say that x is equal to minus 2. So we have two solutions for this quadratic equation, that is x square minus x minus 6 equals 0. So what are the solutions? Solutions are x equals 3 or x equals minus 2. Okay, so then if you think factorization is difficult, okay, or sometimes we cannot factorize so easily, then we have one easy solution or easy method to solve quadratic equations, that is using quadratic formula. So what is that quadratic formula? Quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a for equation of the form ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, so here if I pick this equation, that is x square minus x minus 6 equals 0, ax square, so coefficient of x square is a, let's say this is, here it is 1, so a value is 1. Then bx, so here we have minus x, so if you compare, then you get b value as minus 1. So b is the coefficient of x. The last constant number is c, so c is minus 6, minus 6 equals 0. So this is how I identify a, b, c, and I will get the value of x by substituting in this formula. So x is equal to minus b, so I'll get minus of minus 1 plus or minus root of b square is minus 1 the whole square, minus 4 into a is 1, c is minus 6, and everything I'll divide it by 2a, 2 into 1. So if you simplify this, I'm going to get minus of minus 1 is plus 1 plus or minus root of, okay, minus 1 the whole square is 1, minus 4 into minus 6 is plus 24, 24 plus 1 is 25, so I'm going to get root 25 divided by 2. But what is root 25? Root 25 is 5, so 1 plus or minus 5 by 2. So this implies 1 plus 5 by 2. What is 1 plus 5 by 2? 1 plus 5, 6, 6 by 2 is 3. So x value would be 3 or 1 minus 5. What is 1 minus 5? 1 minus 5 is minus 4. Minus 4 by 2 is minus 2. So x equals minus 2. And I want you to observe that we are going to get the same values for x. So here also x equals 3 or x equals minus 2. And even if you follow this method, we are going to get x is equal to 3 or x is equal to minus 2. So these are the two methods of solving quadratic equations. There are many more methods, but these are two famous methods for solving quadratic equations. Okay, so in the last section, we understood how to find solutions for a quadratic equations. As I have told you, number of solutions for quadratic equation is maximum 2. That means sometimes you will get only one solution, sometimes you will get no solutions, and sometimes you will have two solutions. So my question is, when will you get two solutions, or when will you get one solution, or when will you get no solution? If a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equals 0, if quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equals 0, then there is one term you can identify, delta, or it is called as a discriminant, which is given by b square minus 4ac. The value of this b square minus 4ac is going to decide what type of roots we are going to get, or nothing but nature of roots. If this b square minus 4ac value is, okay, so this value is positive, okay, if this value is positive value, then you are going to get two real roots, and they are different roots. Two real, I can say distinct roots, that means different roots. If this value is 0, if this value b square minus 4ac is 0, then you are going to get one root, or you can say two repeated roots, two real and repeated roots. So what do you mean by repeated roots? X equals 3 or x equals 3. So you are going to get the same values. Or in case you have a negative value for b square minus 4ac, if you have negative value, then the roots are not real, or no real roots exist for this equation ax square plus bx plus c equals 0. Let me take one simple example and show you how to calculate or how to check the nature of roots. So let's say we have an expression x square plus 2x minus 3 equals 0. This is a quadratic equation. Here a is 1, b is 2, c is minus 3, and the discriminant value is b square minus 4ac. So discriminant is, delta is b square, that is 2 square, minus 4 into a is 1, c is minus 3. So now I am going to get 4 plus 4 into 3 is 12. So totally I am going to get 16, and 16 is a positive value. So if this is a positive number, then what type of roots are there for x square plus 2x minus 3? So here we will be having, since delta is greater than 0, meaning if it is a positive number, so then roots are real and distinct. Okay, so similarly we can have many other quadratic equations. Check a, b, c values, substitute in b square minus 4ac, and check whether the roots are real. If they are real, whether they are repeated roots or distinct roots. If they are not real, okay, so then roots are imaginary. This is how we can conclude, or we can get the types of roots without actually solving quadratic equations. So that was a summary of entire quadratic equations. Thank you very much.